Well, I would want to tell you about two programs. One would be the natural experiment that was, in fact, till now conducted only in Poland in last year. And then the second one, the Plan Your Future, that's the model that was discovered or created in 2004, and up to now it was implemented in more than 18 countries. First of all, the natural experiment. The natural experiment, its purpose was to pilot somehow the different motivation systems that would increase savings of the low-income people. So first of all, we wanted to check the ability and willingness of the low-income people to save small amounts of money. But the second thing, we wanted to see some kind of the effectiveness of the different type of incentives. One that were more behavioral incentive, and the second one, the financial incentive. And the third thing, we also tried to check whether the it identify the people who would will to take part in this kind of the project. This time of the project looked like that at the beginning. All low-income people that decided to take part in the pilot test had the training from the financial education, and then we divided them into two groups. The one that were obtaining reminders, whether SMSs every week or the postcards once per month, and the second part of the group could have some kind of a financial incentive, whether they were matching, so when they could save $7 more or less per month, at the end we could give the 50% more of what they saved, or it was the lottery, so they can decide that they may not give that guaranteed lottery, but they may obtain a higher amount at the end. At the end there was evaluation. As you see, well, in fact, half to half people decided to choose the lottery. In fact, lottery in Poland is extremely something famous. And the half of the people decided to have a match, so that guaranteed amount of money. We have discovered that, in fact, the poorest people did not decide to take part in the competition because they thought that even the $7 would be too high amount for them. But they said us their willingness to obtain the reminders, so maybe it will help them to learn or change their behaviors towards the saving. Well, there are of course some strong and weak points of that project, as it was just a pilot test. Well, the strong point is that for sure we have seen that it was a very motivating tool. In fact, more than 70% of the people said that they started saving and they are willing to save later on in the future. It was not as expensive. Well, the lottery was not as expensive, and probably that's something that could be implemented by banks. It in fact somehow increased the attractiveness for the saving for low-income people, because it's always when you save, especially when you have small salary, then you know that you have to move some good things for the match future. So when you have a match, or you've got lottery, or you've got even the reminder that tell you that it's worth, it increases its attractiveness. It also teaches most of the people the responsibility for their own finances, as they were obliged to do that, and they were obliged to send us the information that they've managed. In fact, we've seen that such a test could be adapted to a specific financial goal, like housing or education, probably like in banks. That, in fact, somehow moved people from the social exclusion and make them aware that they are able somehow to step by step change their situation. There are of course some weak points of that project or that approach. The one thing is that the match lottery for a long term, it would be too expensive. So probably it has to be done for a short time. And then when people change their behaviors, they can do by themselves. It was also challenging to do the gambling law in Poland, because there's many of the people who are our beneficiaries were obtaining some social care and help from the country. And there's a law that if you are earning or saving more than a certain amount, you would not obtain any more that help. So that's why we had to increase the final award. Okay. So that's more or less the first project. And the second, the Plan Your Future, I'm sure that some of you already know it. It's a model that, first of all, aims to change the negative attitudes towards long-term planning of people. It somehow broadens the menu of saving options of people by giving them a new knowledge how to save, what are the possibilities of obtaining new money. And in fact, it just acquires people with basic skills in area of financial education. This model is divided into 7 sessions, so where people can learn about putting the goal, a financial goal, learning how to give back the debt and how big debt is the one that they can afford. But also think about their budget and household budget, how it can be managed. So through the model, we learn people how to change their behaviors and attitudes toward financial education. To be honest, when I was preparing that, it was quite difficult for me to think about weak points. But I thought it would be really
no obligation.
Well, anyway, I decided to put some. But truly, through that 8 years of experience in 19 countries, we've hardly heard any negative information about that project. Sometimes that it's a bit more difficult to adapt by some institutions, as it was used to given as a training to beneficiaries. But right now, since 2 years, we've changed it, and this tool and information of financial education are giving as a counseling when people are decided to taking a debt or giving their saving to the banks. They are learned and teach about financial education. So the strong point are that the tool is adapted for low-income people. It is well understandable. It doesn't give high economical information, but those are basic rules that each person should know. It's because of that it's well understandable, and it proved that it changed their negative attitudes towards long-term financial planning, because people start believing and see that they are able to start saving, even $7 per month. And it's somehow at the end, it helps to increase the confidence in the financial market. And sometimes in fact, it causes the in-banking, especially in Eastern Europe or Central Asia. The weak points, as I said, it's that usually to give the whole information, it should be given during 2 days. It can be separated into a few sessions, but sometimes it's discovered as a challenge, let's say, in the institution. And also something like Mr. Nika were saying, that financial education, there are not enough proofs that it may change the behavior changes or behaviors toward financial planning. In fact, it does, but it does not change the behavior of externally motivated people. If they are externally motivated, that's true that there has to be some extra incentive. But the first project showed what kind of incentives could it be. And in the end, why and how it could be implemented. Why there are so many reasons well, I just put the most important, that first of all, it reduces vulnerability of those people, of the low-income people, especially because it's somehow a key mechanism for risk management. When they are prepared for emergency, it's their vulnerability decrease and their confidence in their lives are increasing. For that reason, it's a key tool for social inclusion. And in some way, it enables innovation. When they've got savings, they can invest money for something, even in 2 years or 3 years' time. From our perspective, what we've seen and noticed, it can be and should be recognized as a policy goal, and it could be part of the social assistant program. Right now, in the next year, we hope we'll be trying to do some pilot program to put it to the social assistance. But also, in fact, both of those tools could be applied in debt reduction programs to help to go out from vicious circle. Thank you.